interesting. I enjoyed it. I enjoy this AI a lot because we discuss a lot of stuff. We discuss, in depth what AI is. We get into the practical insights of AI. And today, basically, we are restarting it after like a month. And we thought, what can we do better? And what we thought was that let's bring more insight. Let's bring more, practical insights. Like, let's discuss more what practical, AI is kind of stuff. And that basically is where, we thought, let's bring some life to it. Like, and therefore, we thought, let's bring demos to it. Right. So that's basically is where, our thought came, let's see live demos. Let's see what is happening in AI. We have been talking about AI. A lot of people are saying this is happening, that is happening, but how does it work? What does it mean to say that, agent is, I'm talking to an agent replies? What does it mean to see a live, employee support chatbot? What is a RAG application? How do I optimize my RAG, whatever, RAG application I'm building? How does, anything like text to SQL work? A lot of other things. AI is so deep, and everything, things change so much. But just seeing it live in action actually makes it very, very interesting. So today, basically, we have Leapx, Manik and Aditya from Leapx will be doing a demo very shortly, where they will show you, in a very interesting space called advertising, how AI agents, can work in the advertising space. So Manik and Aditya, welcome to AI Hour, and I am actually very excited to see that your demo. Give me like 5 minutes. I'll come back to you. We'll start in like 5 minutes. I have few things which I want to share before we do the demo. So basically, few things that we are doing in. Sorry, my screen. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so I just want to announce this AI Minicon, because this AI Minicon we're doing in January, and it has fantastic speakers. I'm very excited to have like CTO of Microsoft India, AI head of Misho. They are doing some incredible work in the search space, and in handling like real customer calls using AI agents. So very excited to hear their story. Then we have Nikhil Malhotra from Tech Mahindra, and they have done something interesting in sovereign AI. I heard they launched something in Indonesia, where they launched the sovereign AI of Indonesia, right? So it's very interesting work that Nikhil has done in Tech Mahindra as Chief Innovation Officer. Then we have Dr. Pankaj Dikshit from government, e-marketplace. Now, GEM is basically is doing $50 billion of digital procurement for government in India, and he's the CTO for that. And they're doing some interesting work in AI, where they have launched like a chatbot and a lot of other interesting things. And it's very interesting when you hear, someone, like a government organization is looking at AI and from adoption point of view. So these, very prolific speakers from the industry who are working on the cutting edge of AI. And then we have basically two VCs, venture capitalists who basically invest into AI, right? So we have Rahul, who is a partner in a $300 million fund. We have Purvi Elevation from Elevation Capital, which is like $1 billion fund. So very, very high profile investors who will share what is happening in AI, and those kinds of stuff. So I love, I would recommend you to register for it. If you have not registered, I will share the link very shortly in the chat, so that you can get there. But something, I would recommend you attend it on 17th January, Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Next year. Now, another thing which we are doing, and this is basically is to ensure that the students of the country basically are exposed to the latest technologies, what is happening in AI. So we have taken agentic AI, which is the, the buzzword you will hear from a lot of folks right now. And if you go to Valley, everyone is talking about agentic AI right now. So it's so hot right now. So we basically are, doing this hackathon right now, live, online only. where 1,000 teams are creating AI agents on what we are building, which is basically a Grok Lake. Grok Lake is a agentic AI infrastructure that we're building so that, you can build any agent, in your organization very, very quickly kind of stuff. So that's something is I also wanted to highlight that if you're a student, I don't know if any of you are a student, but if you're a student and want to do an hackathon, this is the hackathon in India right now for agentic AI. And the third thing basically is I want to announce that we have launched Agentic Innovation Lab. And this basically means that we are basically doing some very, interesting research, innovative research work in Agentic AI with respect to infrastructure, with respect to security, and with respect to, how do you create cost efficient agents? Because very, very important that country like India, vertical agents should be very, very cost efficient. So how do we create that kind of stuff? So that basically is the 3 announcements. I thought I'll just put it out to tell you that, one is a AI minicon, which you should attend in January 17th. Second thing is a hackathon, which is happening with 1,000 plus teams. And I'm quite sure within like 2 weeks, it will be 2,000 teams. So one of the largest hackathons. And third thing is, if you have interest in this agentic AI innovative research, feel free to reach out to us and we'll love to talk more about it kind of stuff. With that, Manik and Aditya, I want to, welcome you and thank you for your time. We are looking forward to, the demo. Manik or Aditya, if you want to go ahead, unmute yourself and maybe describe what you're doing to the audience.
Sure, Manoj. Am I audible?
Yes, Manik, you are audible. Yes.
Okay, great. So first of all, thank you, Manoj. It is very exciting to be on such a platform. And a few days ago only, I was in touch with you, wanted to catch up regarding how we can leverage a community to solve certain problem areas in agentic AI. And this is one of the initiatives that will help us bring closer to solving our real world problems. A very quick introduction about us at Leapx. We are building AI agents for digital ad operations. As Manoj, you also rightly said, there is a difference between Gen AI and agentic AI. People can use Gen AI to basically ideate a lot on ChatGPT, but actually executing them over Google and Meta, that is what we do. So we are leveraging natural conversations to basically do uh, media planning, let's say, or ideation on the personas, targeting, etc., and actually launching them on Google and Meta. That is our task. And we are basically having 2 use cases. One is basically having bulk operations wherein thousands of campaigns needs to go live, or basically an SME who does not understand digital marketing but has a context on their product and their audiences. They can have natural conversation with our agent and be able to push their campaigns as good as a performance marketer or agency would do through our platform. So I'll just request Ojas to basically demonstrate one of the functionalities wherein you are new to digital marketing, you understand about the product, and through natural conversation, how can you have a very good strategy point of view or a very good campaign which makes sense on Meta or Google.
No, very interesting, Alik. I think one of the, and we have, in Craftzilla done a lot of digital advertising, and I can tell you from experience is that campaign management and just managing the whole creative and communication part across multiple channels of, advertising, like publishers, is such a challenge for a lot of folks, right? Now, a certain kind of, campaigns work for certain kind of audience.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Aditya, you take over. I'm sorry. I'm having some.
Sure, thanks. So as Manoj rightly said, there is a lot. Probably we can have a demo and probably tell. So there are a lot of challenges that we have faced. We'll probably share after the call as well how we are handling.
No, love to hear that, because how you have come to this journey is also very, very interesting to hear that.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Manoj, for the introduction. And I have to say this is a really nice initiative that you guys are doing. this Agni Labs and the Minicon. I really look forward to it.
Thank you.
Now to start with them and to add on what Manik said, right? We are in the business of building agentic workflows of several operations in digital marketing, right? So to just introduce what I'm going to demonstrate to you guys in a while, we have figured out. I mean, we have been figuring out all the micro operations that bring together the world of digital marketing. Whether it be launching a campaign, whether it be understanding personas, as I said, Manoj, understanding the targeting, right, launching ad sets, getting all the keywords right, getting the content right, getting the creative piece right. So all the micro operations together, when brought together, they build a whole workflow that fulfill a particular use case. Like in your case, Manoj, in Craftsvilla, you might be thinking of targeting several locations at the same time, but with different personas for a particular product of yours. Right. So it involves, understanding the product, understanding the persona, which will be resonating with the product. Right. And then, figuring out the locations, then the copies, the vernacular nature of the copies, the creatives and everything, bring everything together and then, strategizing a campaign and launching it. Right. So we have built, agents on all those, micro operations. You can picture them as Lego blocks, right? And what I'm going to demonstrate to you is DAC, which is a super agent sitting on top of all these micro agents. You
Okay.
can think of it as a middleware, right? That brings life to all these micro operations, right? So whether you naturally speak to DAC that I want to launch a campaign and do this and this, it'll simply just call the right tool or the right agent at the right time and make your workflow very natural. Right. So I'll,
Yes.
I'll just share my
Yes.
screen and
I just want to highlight the natural language part, because a lot of people, ask what is an AI agent, and having a natural language interface is so critical. Uh, is so critical for a AI agent. For I will have a slide later on, where I'll tell you there's a big agentic switch which is happening, and the biggest agentic switch in the if you can think of, is the consumer is now moving from clicking and typing to voice, because as a human we are so used to using the language as a medium of communication, that first to type, for example, my mother, right, if I have to ask her to do anything online, she cannot type, right, but she can speak in her local language, right? So just imagine if an AI agent can be given where she can just speak and talk in a local language, she can actually do all kind of online shopping, she can read all news, whatever she wants to do. But that is natural language is critical if you are looking at an AI agent. That whenever you look at AI agent, think of it as a human, but AI with a natural language interface. I just want to highlight that piece here.
yeah, rightly
Very
said.
rightly said, Manoj. I mean, we all are used to technology and basically type. I'll give my example of my father. He very well adopted to Google voice thing. He never types. He always commands the Google search to do whatever search he wants to do. He has recently switched using ChatGPT as well. Over there as well, the behavior is not typing. He has conversation. So I truly get your point, Manoj. It is basically the adoption for people, or probably people who are low tech, but the adoption is very high with it.
Yeah.
So
And
anyways,
even our vision is that, instead of typing simply, when I show you that, our vision is that someone would be able to just speak to that, कि भाई मैं वो campaign launch करना है, हिंदी में बोले या इंग्लिश में बोले या टर्किश में बोले, ठीक है, in a very natural way that he's talking to a digital companion who's able to do everything on the go, right? So I'll jump straight off to the demo, right? By the way, this is our dashboard. It consists of simple, banking matrices that define the campaigns that we launch, all the matrices that define the
Sorry,
performance.
I'm not seeing your screen. If you're sharing a
Oh,
screen, sorry.
not able to share.
Yeah, I just sharing mine, so I removed it. Now maybe
Wait,
you can
wait.
share this.
yeah, it is visible, Ojit. It is visible.
Take a second. Mani, can you see my
Yeah,
screen?
yeah, 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 yeah. It is visible.
It's visible.
It's visible. Okay, sorry. So then maybe my bad.
Yeah. So, Manoj, good to go?
Yeah, go ahead. Yes, yes.
All right. Yeah, so what you see on the screen is, the dashboard that we built. This is a simple dashboard, nothing fancy. It consists of all the vanity matrices of the campaigns that we've launched through the platform, right? So what I really want to highlight in this demo is this thing right here, DAC. So, as I told you, DAC is a super agent sitting on top of all the, micro operations workflows that we built, our internal agents, right? And it gives a very natural flow to how all those agents work together, right? So right now we are working on 4 of the use cases. Okay, one is launch meta campaign, launch Google campaign. One is bulk update campaigns, and the other one is generate insights, which is more of chat with data, chat with the Facebook campaigns or Google campaigns, right? So I'll demonstrate launch meta campaign over here. So as you see, it greets, the first thing it does, it greets and tells us that it's here to set up a fantastic ad campaign. Could you please share the URL of the website? So just to, keep everybody's interests on the spot, I'll use Craftsvilla, the product. So I came across this product, seeing fancy. I'll just copy the URL. All I have to do is copy the URL and paste it here. Now, instead of copying the URL, I can also give it a brochure or maybe an image or maybe a running text of what my product is, right? So URL is the most convenient way to, tell about the product, on what the price category is, the price point is, information on the product and all. Right. So right now what it does is, like I told you, that talks to a lot of multi-agents. So it was talking to the product understanding tool, the tool that understands the product, right? So which was relevant here. So as you can see, it brought out all the information of the product in a go. I see that it did not get the price field here, so I can just ask it to include the price. Please edit the price to start from INR 1400. So it'll edit the information. This information is basically used to, bring out the personas, the targeting, right, the creatives, and copies, right? So we can now proceed to create relevant personas for the campaign. So yes, let's create 2 personas that might get appealed to the product. So instead
You can
of
add whatever context you want to add over here. You can ask for mutually exclusive personas. You can say, that, okay, I want to target tier 2 or tier 3 basis your understanding of the product and business. You can give the context and it will basically fetch out the personas for you accordingly.
Got it.
So right now it's talking to the tool that, takes in the product information and brings out the personas which might be relevant to the product, right? So it takes 10 to 15 odd seconds to get the personas. So as you can see, we have 2 personas: rural resilience seeker, because it's a feature phone which is more prominent in rural areas, and urban minimalist, minimalist specifically for a feature phone. So I think it's on point. Right, we can add more personas, we can edit the personas, and as you can see, it brings out all the attributes of the persona as well, like the persona name, what age should be targeted, gender, the persona theme, interests, communication peg, which is stay connected simply and reliably wherever life takes you, right? Motivation of the particular persona, and why they would look for the particular product, brands and shows that they might watch, right? Which is I see that Reliance Jio, Chumbak, and all that stuff, Colors TV, OTTs, which are more prominent in the rural areas, online behavior and places there. So I guess the personas are on point, and we can proceed with that or edit that, right? So let's go with both the personas. So yeah, we'll go for both the personas, and it's asking me to set up a campaign objective, which is leads or sales. We'll go for a sales campaign with a budget of, let's say, 20K. So I can have a choice that I fill in all the information in the first message, and DAC would perform all the operations one-on-one. Or the other way is that, DAC keeps on asking me questions which are needed, the fields that are needed, and I can provide them as DAC talks to me, right? So sales campaign budget amount is 20,000, and I need to provide the end time for the campaign. Let's keep the end time 1 week from now on lifetime budget.
So, all this, Manoj, ideally is different screens. You create you in typical click-based workflows. You will have
Mm,
clicks and different screens. You will be saving an audience somewhere, and then basically you'll be launching a campaign
mm,
somewhere. You'll be and picking up the same persona somewhere. Then you'll be creating a product brief somewhere.
mm,
The idea was basically everyone has their own way of launching a campaign. It is not point A, B, C, D, E. A person
mm,
might go start from A, then have a conversation on C, then
mm,
come on B, then come on D, and there's basically no fixed
mm,
workflow.
mm,
So it is adaptive enough, and as we understand, the future of UX is basically the content that we are seeing, how visually appealing it is. We have
mm,
also played with a lot of tone and tonality. For example, we gave basically Amitabh Bachchan or a Navjot Singh Sidhu to add just fun element. These are the kind of customizations that we can build around
okay.
the user experience. But what we're showing right now over here is basically how anyone who does not understand anything about digital marketing will be able to understand all of this. And someone who understands will just go and provide a brief, and that would then solve it in the next step itself, because all the input that were required was there in the context in the first go. So it is
Got it.
modular enough to basically handle any kind of expertise that a person might be having.
And can it take like local language input or a
Yeah.
English input?
No input. I mean, we can totally, but right now, what we've been able to just done English input only.
Okay.
Right? We can talk in Hindi if we want, right? But it's not very optimized right now. But
Okay.
when it comes to creating the copies, we can create vernacular copies for different cities, right? Although I can type in Hindi in here. For example, um, let's say it's asking me, could you please confirm if you want the same settings? Same settings. चाहिए. So I can do that, and it'll understand that as well.
So basically English kind of stuff, right? Where I'm
Yeah,
saying
English
speaking
works.
Yeah.
Hindi,
English
but
is well.
in a English. Okay, got it.
We are very, I mean, it is, again, we are at a stage wherein we are doing it for English as a requirement. Very soon we'll be launching in vernacular as well. For example, we can try, or just if you want, basically, if you, we can give a try on having vernacular copies, or we'll just demonstrate. So we have the functionality. What happens sometimes is basically, there are some glitches on that part, but we can try. Do we want to try, or just on this one?
Let's do that.
We can have, let's say, communication as per the city, the language as per the city.
And creatives also gets created here?
There is a separate creative automation that we have handled. But right now on this, we are not handling the creative. If someone has the creative, he will just simply upload it.
So basically here I can set the target locations and those kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so target location, I can understand. How about target location? Can I do pin code wise? I mean, can I say target location is this pin code, hyperlocal?
Yes. So if you provide, let's say, a comma separated value, okay, these are the pin codes, and I want different ad set for each, it will take it up.
Got it. Got it.
So there is another operation. See, this is the demo that right now we are doing is basically for someone who does not understand anything. You saw there is a bulk operation. So what we have, another way of doing it is that we have all the inputs structured in an Excel. Why we upload into that, and we tell, okay, you pull this from here, this from here, this from here, this sheet. These are the columns, and what we'll do is basically it will create all those hundreds of line items as we it's common language in digital marketing. It will create those 100 line items and get it reviewed and basically push it on Meta. This one is basically for one-to-one product. Let's say if tomorrow for Craftsvilla there's going to be a content management system. So we have thought of basically having an integration wherein your CMS gives the context of all the products, and you simply basically tell the agent, okay, I want to have a campaign for, let's say, this product category or these particular products. Will just launch that.
Got it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. No, definitely very interesting. And so what about the ad copy? The creative is part, but the name, like how the communication part, the textual communication part, because that's
It's
what I
it's
also saw that it actually did increase the CTRs in some ways when we are playing
Yes.
around. Yes.
So that chat with data is basically once you in one project you can have either one campaign or you have a multiple cohort of campaigns.
Hmm.
So in chat with data or whatever the application we have, it can be, let's say, if you have regions, if your campaign is as per regions, so you can
Hmm.
select a region and drill down on basically through natural conversation what is the CTR in this particular region. Or you can have, let's say, analyze this region and give me insights on how to improve performance. So
Hmm.
if you can give the context, it will give you answers in that particular context. And if you don't understand, you want this agent to basically give you the answers
Hmm.
to how performance can be improved, it will do that as well.
Hmm.
Quickly, very Ojas, I can think we'll just be able to show one use case of how chat with data is working as well.
Yeah.
So over here, what it does is it has basically through conversations created the whole payload. If someone wants, he can basically review the campaign, and this is, for example, a simple ad account that was connected to. So everything gets pushed to Meta Ads Manager once you basically create the whole particular payload on the DAC. So it will create. So it is very overwhelming for anyone to basically go through the ad managers, go through settings, understand what it is. So that is what we have built.
So
Yeah.
Now,
all the basically whatever the ad copy needs, basically you have created,
yes,
and now it
yes,
just needs to be
yes,
pushed.
yes,
And that push part also, is it integrated through
Yeah,
your
as you can
platform
see
or?
on the screen, all the campaign, the ad sets were pushed
Hmm.
right on Ads Manager. So basically, it's all about execution as well. We can talk to we can talk into that. We are telling that what kind of campaign we want to launch, right? And as you can see on the screen, the campaigns got launched. It's on the Ads Manager
Hmm.
right now, right? So
so the idea of probably we can take another screen. We can just have a chat campaign chat with data very quickly while I'm telling them about this.
chat with
So
data is अभी server उसका चलो
okay,
chat with data वाला चलो I guess I can show you a very, work in progress kind of a thing because the
Okay.
content is still, I mean, they are, the team is kind of editing
Sure.
the
Sure.
content, right? So I have a very basic level, this thing, you can call it a work in progress or something like that. It's based
Sure.
on Streamlit, right? So,
Got
acha.
it.
okay, right now we'll not be
Actually,
able
right now
to.
it's not.
But
No, that's
so the
fine. I
idea
think,
is,
yeah, I got the idea. So I think whatever we're trying to do here, like through natural language, we're trying to create like campaigns, right? And
yeah.
Yeah.
automate all that so that anyone who doesn't know a lot of about it can basically push it kind of stuff, right? The campaign. But what about how good the campaign is doing? Is there something that uh, that also I can get like one of the challenges that we had was we did not know which campaign or which ad copy was working better from a CTR
Yes.
perspective and those kind of stuff.
Yes, yes. So that is basically what we have included in this generate insight
Hmm.
Vola tab.
Okay.
We have started with the enterprise use case first,
Hmm.
wherein this is mostly for demo purpose.
Hmm.
But in enterprises, everyone is having their own workflow or how they do it. For example, I'll give you an example. People would have different distribution and they'll have different ad sets for a particular distribution. Let's say if you are having franchisees per locations, so people might
Hmm.
have different ad sets with a particular for a particular product, or people might have different campaigns for different distributions and multiple ads for different products. So it varies person to person.
Hmm.
As a company, we have started with the enterprise use case,
Okay.
wherein it is basically more clear in this,
Hmm.
and the value proposition initially is basically to automate a lot of repetitive ad operation. For example,
Yeah.
for an SME, and duplicating ad sets for every region, duplicating basically audiences across different products is one of the bulk operations. So that is easily doable when you say, okay, once I have created a product, or for example, you are having an existing product campaign live, you just give command, okay, take audience from this particular campaign and replicate across. Similarly, in performance itself, you can create, you can give, for example, for these products, what is the best performing CTR, and then give a command, okay, this particular CTR, update it in my existing campaigns or these particular ad sets. So that context wherein agent understand, okay, what is the hierarchy of products or what is the hierarchy of distribution. For there it is built.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Got it.
like you also previously mentioned, Manoj, text to SQL, you mentioned that,
Mm.
between what you were saying. So we are building a stuff, the product that we're building, it's more on text to Python and text to SQL, and it's very fine-tuned towards the digital marketing use case that, the product that we call it Sage, right? So it also integrates with the knowledge bases that you have, right? The data warehouses that you have, right? Understanding, even performing advanced analytics like market mix modeling or CLTV analysis or RFM analysis or simple analysis like, okay, which placements are working the best for this particular campaign, right? For example, you're getting reel acha kaam kar rahe hain Instagram pe, you're getting lower CPL and higher number of leads. So it'll also suggest you, okay, let's shift the budget towards this particular this thing placement, and that will, might lead to a better performance. And you can press a button and that thing gets updated on your campaign. So that's what we are building right now. The other use case here is, which is particularly for enterprises, is reporting. Right. So what we've seen, I used to work in Group M. I was the head of data science and analytics. So I mean, I've seen people, everybody creating dashboards of the campaigns that they're running, and they
Mhm.
invest weeks and months into creating dashboards for the clients, right? It considers market mix modeling, RFM, CLTVs, analytics, and all that stuff, and they create, Power BI and all that. So what we've done is built a simple chat interface जहाँ पे आप बोलोगे, okay, मेरे को अपना spends का ID चाहिए, अपना पूरा ad account का ID चाहिए, campaign का चाहिए, I want the market mix model of the this particular product and category, right? It'll create all the charts, all the insights, all the inferences, and you can pin each of those insights onto the this thing, report. Create a report on the web. Basically, just takes seconds to create a whole report, right? So that's what we're trying to build, trying to solve that problem for
No, no,
enterprise.
great.
It's getting really good
Definitely.
feedback, right? So
No, no, great. I think it is very interesting what you have built, and I can see a lot of value because we have come across similar issues, as I said in Capsula. Uh, Imagine you having such kind of AI agent, right? And not only you get productivity boosts, which means that you can
Yeah.
actually do more with what you already have, right? From a cost perspective, like number of people, you don't have to hire a lot of digital marketing folks and those kind of stuff. But also, with deep analytics, you can actually, you know, so it's not only a cost that that you manage, but you also can increase your revenue, which basically is very interesting because a lot of times AI people think that I will reduce the cost, right? But
Yeah.
getting the revenue up using AI is something that I think the very interesting use case that I'm seeing here. So definitely thank you, Manik. I think there are a few questions people have
Sure.
asked. So if you want to address that very quickly. Dhruv, I think, has asked how to connect FP Ads Manager with DAC, and can we see
So it's a
progress?
simple feature wherein a person logs in using their business manager credential, and there's an authentication that happens through Facebook, and then basically with Leapx, your Meta Ad Manager basically connected, and now
Okay,
basically your after this connection happened, you can do anything with that.
it's
That is
basically,
how.
getting the connection to your page, right?
got it.
Because your ad, most of your campaign, all of your campaigns get, managed to the page only. So there's a whole process wherein the OR process gives us access to the page to some extent, where we can, control the campaigns. That can control the campaigns for you.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Oh, interesting. Definitely very interesting. Thank you, Manik and Aditya, for
Yeah.
this great demo. I learned a lot, so I'm hopeful a lot of other people learned a
One
lot.
of the things I think very the perspective that many people might find interesting is
Hmm.
uh, coding naturally has been a tool for front-end developers, back-end developers, DevOps. Then in last 10-15 years, it's been a tool for data analysts doing SQL queries. But coding and the power of automation was always applicable for digital marketers as well. So what we are seeing when various vertical agents are being created is basically the use case of, let's say, in digital marketing, there were Python developers. How
Hmm.
would they basically solve or basically automate a lot of their tasks? Because Google scripts and Facebook scripts, they existed since a long while. but they have never, the adoption was never there because of the skill gap, the technical skill gap. And through agents, now everyone can code. So it is basically uh, using that power of, or basically that mindset of using Lego blocks for your particular industry and how you can code. It is basically, there was something, it's a term that's being used, that agentic process automation, that
Yeah.
it is not a fixed one-to-one automation. It
Yeah.
understands the context and what kind of automation has to be built. The agent understands that, so it is of a different level
Yeah,
altogether.
yeah. No, definitely. I think very interesting, things which are happening in AI, and
Yeah,
automation itself, from a robotic process automation, RPA, to APA, which is agentic process automation
exactly.
itself, is such a big shift is happening. Companies like
Yes,
UiPath, they basically, the CEO only talks about APA now. RPA is used to be their business, but he's
yeah,
saying now forget RPA. Agentic
yes,
process automation is what we are
yes.
doing, kind of stuff. So there's a fundamental shift happening in a lot of places, and that's why it's so exciting what's happening here. So, I thank you, Anik, again, Aditya,
Pleasure is
for
all
for
around.
for for doing the demo.
Thanks.
I'll quickly share my screen and get to the next topic. Uh, Now, before I get into what I wanted to share, like, which is basically top 5 predictions of 2025. I thought this is probably the last AI hour that we'll do in 2024. So what are we looking in 2025 is something that I wanted to share. Now, before I do that, I wanted to just open the floor for folks to share anything. If there's something that you want to share about AI, would love to know what you guys are doing in AI. Are you building anything, as a product? Are you building anything, any service which uses AI kind of stuff? Are you building from outside of India? Are you building for India? Anyone want to share anything? Quickly, we can like spend like 5 minutes on the audience.
Manik and Aditya, just one question. You have been through this journey. What were the challenges that you faced, and if you can probably in short let us know how you solved those.
Yeah. So I can speak more from the technology point of view, right? So, see, the agentic ecosystem or the AI ecosystem has evolved very rapidly in the past few days, right? I believe that the frameworks which made the building of the development of all these workflows, agentic workflows, came in lately in September or August, right? Like LangGraph, LangChain, LangFlow, Llama Index, all these frameworks. Right. Before that, something that worked for us, which also, was a challenge, as just said. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Monica.
Monica. Right. So it was, figuring out all the micro, operations that happen at the back end, while creating a use case. Right. Previously, we were working for real estate. We were targeting real estate as an industry. Right. So they had a very, very simple use case. कि उनको campaign launch करने, they want a leads campaign. They want to understand what kind of leads are coming in. They have no they don't give any they don't care about any thing what's going on, what's the performances, what the campaign is set up. They just want leads, right? That's all they focus on, only on the performance, right? So in the process, right, we were able to figure out, we were able to break down the whole process into several steps, right? Like picking up the right targeting for a particular real estate product, right? Picking up the right audiences, picking up the right personas, then launching the campaigns, the creative, how that works, the copies, what kind of copies work in which part of India, right? What kind of copies resonate with different demographics of people, right? So that kind of, it was a big challenge to bifurcate everything into very smaller pieces. But in the end, it kind of worked for us, because we were able to figure out so many micro operations in the whole workflow that can, if brought together in different permutations and combinations, they can build in any use case for any SMB or be it an enterprise, right? So, like I just talked about real estate. Now let me talk about automotive as an industry. Real estate is a very different industry. Automotive is a very, very different industry. They have a very different workflow. For example, an automotive player has 4,000 dealerships in India, right? They have several regional offices and a head office, and they have, different campaign structures, ad account structures. Everything's different, right? But what enabled us to build something for them was that we had all the micro operations in place, right? So, we built a system wherein all those operations, the micro agents can work together to develop a particular use case very seamlessly, right? So it's more about what I figured out on the journey, that the challenge was figuring out the granularity of everything, right? And it makes everything very flexible for any use case that comes towards us, right? So that was a challenge, but it totally worked for us.
So basically, the first step starts with identifying what your agent architecture is going to look like. You can stuff various use cases into one architecture, one agent, or how do you break it into tools? So that comes first, and probably very regular challenges like hallucination would you will encounter very soon. They have to be either resolved through reflection or through the fact that whether you want AI or basically Gen AI to be used in creating that, or you can use it a simple Python script wherein, for example, transforming one sheet to another does not necessarily require one agent to basically first go through the content and create that content again. It can be a simple transformation code from one Excel to another Excel. So there are various ways, reflection, or basically understanding whether Gen AI is actually required or there is some other kind of a process wherein the hallucination decreases. For example, if you want to launch 1,000 ad sets, there's going to be a lot of context. Hallucination will happen. Now, do you want to break it into chunks? So if you do it 1,000 times, the cost of operation are going to increase. Now, there has to be an innovation on how do you decrease the cost and also basically make it accurate. So it's going to be different for everyone. And our approach is primarily basically thinking of, again, as we just mentioned, as modular as possible. And wherever there is an automation through code that can happen, do that.
No, great. No, thanks. Definitely, creating a hallucination is definitely a very, very hot topic. You talk to any enterprise. It may not impact, consumers as such in a big way.
Yes.
But enterprises, they cannot see, even like a 0.1% of hallucination in their flow.
Yes.
So that's
Point
why.
one hallucination means out of 4,000 line items, 4 5
Yeah.
are going to go wrong.
Yeah. So definitely that's
Yeah.
basically we call that a AI triad challenge. It's a triangle: cost, latency, and accuracy. These are the three big pieces of AI. When you have to think about AI, you have to see whether it's affordable, right? Whether
Yeah.
the latency is good, which means that I can get response faster, and whether the accuracy is what I'm looking for. And
Rightly said.
usually what we have seen is that if we have to be more accurate, you have to your cost will go up and your latency will also go up. So it's a very
Yes.
complicated piece that you run into with respect to solving these three. But thank you for answering that.
To add on
Now.
to what you said, Manoj, I mean, what we were talking about, cost optimization you mentioned, right? So I've talked to a lot of people who are working on AI development, right? And one thing I realize is that people are relying too much on Gen AI.
Hmm.
And because it's very simple. For example, finding a very simple use case that, finding similarity between two things, right?
Yes.
A person would use Gen AI and that would, add on a bit of a cost, which when scaled up would cost you thousands of dollars.
Yes.
Right? So I've realized that people are, solely relying on Gen AI, while, things can be very simply automated by just understanding the basic foundations of, the Python scripts that
Yes.
make that tool, right? So,
Yes.
and that's totally for free. You just have to deploy that
Yeah.
zero cost thing. So
No,
people
that
are,
mix and match is very important. Otherwise, you're running into. And there's another thing which is human in the loop, right?
yeah,
Which means that sometimes it's better to bring human in the loop because it might be
Yeah.
better for hallucination. It might be better for your cost, and it might give a customer better experience. So there are definitely a lot of things you have to think about. I'll quickly, because we're running out of time, I'm just quickly go through my next slide, and take you through what we think are the top 5 predictions of 2025. Of course, AI agents will be everywhere. I mean, agentic AI, what we just saw with Leapx, and what I'm assuming in next 12 months you will see 10 times more automated Leapx in 2025, because there'll be so many agents. So AI agents will be everywhere. Agentic AI is basically what everyone is saying. 2025 is for agentic AI. Generative AI was 2024. Agentic AI is for 2025. Unstructured data will go out of the roof, because why? Because all of us will be talking to these AI agents in language, right, in local language. So your data will be mostly unstructured, right? And how do you handle such kind of unstructured data, where your customers are talking to AI agents in the local, in the language, and you have to basically see whether my agent is doing better or whether my agent is not doing better. How do I put that data, or whether I even need to take that data and make it structured, is also a lot of people are questioning. But unstructured data will boom a lot, and a lot of unstructured to structured conversion will also happen because of AI. Like parsing your email. Like today, I can't parse my email. If I have to parse and see whether I got anything important, it's unstructured data. But with AI, I can pass that and make it and bring it into my structured MySQL kind of database kind of stuff, right? So that basically is something that I wanted to highlight. The unstructured data, a lot of people are talking about it. That this is going to be boomed. Now, third thing is, uh, can we get to 10,000 tokens per second of inference generation, right? The state of the art that we have seen, at least we have heard about, is 1,000 to 2,000 tokens per second. In OpenAI, probably you get like 100 tokens per second, not more than that. But for latency, and that is where the latency comes in, that for latency and for agentic flows where you go into loops, and for reasoning, right, or reflection that Manik was talking about, you go into loops, right? So if you're getting into loops of reasoning loops, your token generation has to be very, very fast. So 10,000 tokens per second, even beyond, is something that we believe, maybe we don't have to, wait till the end of the 2025 to have that, but that basically will happen. Less than 1 second of million token cost. Like again, so there was a latency, which is basically how fast you generate tokens, and the cost part, which is the triad that I talked about, is can we make it cheaper? So today, basically, 10 cents per million token is where most of the folks are saying that, with open source, 3 billion parameter, you can get there kind of stuff. Average, generally on average, you pay about a million, a dollar, $5 to $1, depending on what model you're using. So 1 cent per million token cost. Can we get there? Is something that I believe we can get there in 2025. And small models will be everywhere. I mean, basically, a lot of the enterprises will say this generic large language models does not work for us. I will train and fine tune internally so that hallucination is better, and I have more control on the data and those kind of stuff, right? So there are 5 things that we think. Of course, there are a lot of other things that you can think of, but top 5, basically, this is something that comes at the top of our whatever we're seeing around. And any comments from anyone on these? Anyone wants to share any data which either says that this is yes, this is something that will happen, or no, this cannot happen kind of stuff. I'll just share a few data points. Of course, this is basically something that relates to the first point that I share, which is basically the agentic agents will be everywhere, and this big agentic switch is what we call, big agentic switch is coming, which basically starts with the consumer saying that I will not type, I will speak. Now, as soon as you say I'll not type, I'll speak, is where your websites, just go out of, go into oblivion in some ways, kind of stuff, because now you're speaking to agent and agent is talking to you, right? It's no longer a website where you go type and browse and those kind of stuff, right? So maybe 10 years from now, we'll say what kind of, humans were we? We were, browsing websites, kind of stuff, right? So human moving from type, text to voice is basically driving the websites to go away and agentic interfaces. So UX to AX is what the switch is, right? So what the UX we know is actually becoming agentic in nature. So primarily voice, you're talking to someone, the person is speaking, showing you something personalized. They know what you want. You can tag them, tell them, buy grocery for me or buy rice for me, and they know what rice you want, what type of rice you want, what's your budget for the rice, kind of stuff, right? So that kind of stuff. Now, as if you come, then, because the websites are going away and agentics are coming, primarily the things like Shopify of the world will be different, because you don't need a website anymore. You just need infrastructure, right? So there's a big platform to infrastructure switch that basically will happen. It basically means that a lot of things will be more around APIs, rather than you basically going to a website and those kinds of stuff, right? So, and this basically, I don't know if you heard Satya, who's CEO of Microsoft, talked just 2-3 days back, that if the logic is moving to agent, right, you basically don't need a single CRUD database, which basically means that you don't tie to a database, which means that you can connect to anyone as a database, right? I can have multiple databases. I can even connect to people who are, my database is with someone else, kind of stuff, right? Because logic is moving to agent, and that basically is such a fundamental shift, and blows the mind. At least I just feel like what is happening, like, which means that so much power is going to agent, right? And agent is choosing what to connect, kind of stuff, right? So basically that the shift, and that is just disrupting the whole SaaS industry, because SaaS industry is completely one interface, and my logic and database is together, right? That's basically what SaaS is. Now suddenly you take the logic out to agent, my databases can be anyone, I can connect to anyone, I don't need single kind of stuff. It's fundamentally a very, very, very big agentic switch. And that's basically, as the agentic switch is happening, how do you see that world and how do you become relevant in that, is something is some very interesting. This is something I captured from a recent data from Menlo Ventures. It's a VC fund in US. Is that the RAG? Now this again is something that as we build something, the RAG, which is retrieval augmented generation, is just 31 to 50%. There's a big shift. A lot of people are moving to RAG, because it helps you get relevant answer with lesser hallucination on your data. Like employee support, you can build your employee support chatbot, which basically says that uh, you know uh, what is my leave policy, kind of stuff, right? So there are a lot of these applications where my personal data, my personal organizational data is being used. So RAG, which is retrieval augmented generation, is basically is increasing in adoption. Prompt engineering, which was so hot, has gone down, as people I've realized that I can build my own prompts, and people are becoming more conversant with prompts, like and agents have taken, there's 0% agent and generally 12% agent we are seeing in terms of being used in enterprises. Fine tuning has come down a little bit. I believe the fine tuning will go up again as more and more smaller models will come, kind of stuff. This is some data I wanted to share just to give you, especially to say that, focus on the RAG part, if you're looking at it, because that is just taking off in a big way. And agents, which basically is taking off. This is just a market share. OpenAI market share is going up, Anthropic is going up, and Meta is that. So just to tell you that there's a lot of things happening in AI, which and OpenAI, which used to be a leader. We don't know if they will remain a leader or not, but and Google, by the way, has done tremendously well in last 1 month. They have launched so much. Usually in December, we all used to go, and on a vacation. And this December, it's been like, we'll say, please stop here. Let me go and sleep kind of stuff. I want a vacation. But every day something is happening. It's just, I don't know what is happening in US. People have become crazy in AI. And this December has been just crazy from that point of view. And this basically is the cost curve that I wanted to say. In last 3 years, 1,000 times cost reduction has happened from inferencing part, like the cost of asking a question kind of stuff, right? So we're currently at 10 cents, which is $0.1 per million token, and that's basically is, can we get to another 10 times less? And just imagine with 10 times lesser, more adoption will happen, and everything will become cheaper kind of stuff. So that's another thing that I wanted to share. I think that's what I had for today. Anyone wants to add anything? I think I'm almost there. 1 minute. Does anyone has any question, anything that want to share?
Anyways, I mean, we are already seeing, Manoj, companies who were built before 2022
Yeah.
have their architecture sitting on system APIs,
Yes.
and agentic AI does not support that. So it is basically a fair ground for anyone who wants to scale and build, because any big company versus any new startup, they are gonna build it from scratch.
Yes.
And
Yes.
there's no doubt about agentic switch that is
Yeah. Yeah.
going to come.
Yeah. No, definitely. I think that's something is something I believe India can lead in agentic AI. We, of course, generative AI was a bit late for us, but agentic AI is something that we India can lead. I have question from Dhruv. He's asking, will there be any protocols built to enable agent to agent, human agent to agent, or agent to human communication and transactions? So basically that's an interesting question that you asked, because we are exactly working on that part, which is agent to agent communication. And even I think announced that on LinkedIn that we are working on ATTP, which is agent text transfer protocol, because what we are building is more like, you can, it's like more like a factory infrastructure, where, in China had digital goods or physical goods infrastructure for phones and those kind of stuff. Can India build a factory for AI agents kind of stuff? Right? So in that, basically that factory of AI agents, if you're deploying agents in the field, how does agent talk to each other? Agentic networks is again a very interesting, just today HubSpot CEO just said that agent networks is another interesting field which is coming up, because as so many agents are going, how do these agents connect to each other and talk to each other and do transactions? And how does one agent know what other agent can do? Is the other agent available, or down kind of stuff? So it's a very interesting field which is coming up, and I think we'll learn a lot in 2025 on that part. So definitely, Dhruv, very good question. uh, uh, Great. I think we are almost time now. But again, thank you, Manik and Aditya, for the demo, and thanks everyone for your time, and hopefully you enjoyed. We'll come back again, probably not next week because it's sort of a vacation week, but the week after with another AI hour. Do attend the AI Minicon because it's going to be interesting, and look forward to more connecting more and sharing more and learning more from you all. Yeah, thank you and have a great weekend. Bye bye.
Thank you, Manoj, for such a insightful session. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Ed. Thank you. Bye bye.